In this video, I'm going to show you how I made $540 in 3 minutes shorting the S&P 500. Okay, so let's start off with the context and the analysis of this trade. So as you can see, we have two main levels. This key level right here was previous resistance, then it became support, and I was basically waiting for either a rejection of this level or a break and a retest and then continuation to the downside. Now, by the end of the pre-market, right before the market opened, price already broke this level to the downside quite a bit, so my bias for longs was out of the window. I was only looking for shorts, and I was wishing that this break and retest, as you will see on a lower time frame, there was a retest of this level. I was hoping this would actually happen during market open, so I could catch pretty much the top of this move and basically catch a bigger move and a bigger risk reward trade. But anyways, this didn't happen, so I had to adjust to the situation. Now, as we will get to the Bookmap in a second, you will see there was a lot of aggressive selling right here, and every pop basically to the upside of aggressive buying just got sold into, and price wasn't able to go any higher. So as soon as I saw the break, I was just waiting for little retraces to the upside with weaker buying, and then I was just focusing on sells and targeting the next level, which was this high right here that got retested. Okay, this high is pretty much insignificant to me until it gets retested here, and I can see that buyers are stronger, and this could be a good level to target as we might have a potential reversal from this area. Obviously that didn't happen, price dropped a lot further, but I cannot know where the market is going to drop to, and I just need to trade according to my plan and focus on trading basically from level to level. And in this case, I wasn't able to get in from this area as price just dropped quite a bit during the pre-market and didn't really retest during market open. So I just had to adjust and be happy with a smaller risk to reward, which was almost a 3R, okay, which was still pretty decent trade for 3 minutes worth of my time. So let's go back to the 1 minute, and then we'll get into the Bookmap and show you what I actually saw. So here you can see that it broke and then it retested basically twice, and then price started dropping. Okay, and here price might look a little bit choppy over here and here as well, and you could be thinking, why exactly would you enter there? This is why I use the Bookmap, as it was pretty obvious to me that sellers were in control and buyers were weakening. So this is why I decided to short and just target the next level at the 35s, where there was a massive bid as well, which we'll get now to the Bookmap. So here the market is about to open. My time, obviously, I'm in Europe, so that's 3:30 p.m. So let's start this replay. And as you will see, let's slow it down a little bit. The market just opened. We see very aggressive selling. We'll see a little bit of a drop to the downside, which is exactly what we want to see. So basically what we see here is an area of consolidation with aggressive selling. And you can see as the move goes down, there's still a lot of aggressive selling. So basically what I look for here is areas on the Bookmap to short from. So here we have this consolidation range followed by aggressive selling and a drop to the downside. So basically what I want to see now is price return into this range. I want to see price return into this range, and then I want to see either a double top pattern or a high being set in this area, and then see a lower high being set with weaker buying and aggressive selling stepping in. Okay, and as soon as I see that, I just jump in the trade. So let's slow it down a little bit more so you guys can follow along good. All right, so now price is retracing into the level. Let's see when it will make this first high. By the way, all these lines that you can see, these are offers, and on the bottom, these are bids. Okay, below price are bids, above price are offers, which are just limit orders. Okay, we have this first high being set right here. I'm not in this trade. I'm patiently waiting for the moment that I see weaker buying and aggressive selling stepping in. All right, so let's see, price will go deeper into this level. Still see aggressive buying, especially zooming out is very key on the Bookmap. You can see a lot of aggressive buying. It's important to not jump the gun, especially if you zoom out, you can see how this aggressive buying is still there. Okay, price is going deeper into this range. We see some weaker buying right here. Okay, this is a nice high being set, followed by some selling here, aggressive. Now all we need is a little retrace with some weaker buying, such as this. You can see smaller green bubbles, weaker buying, and aggressive selling. And this could be a potential entry with stop loss above 3 points, 4 points. And this is also where I entered. I entered right here at the 46s. So after I saw this aggressive selling, this is where I entered. And you can see this is a lower high pattern and price starts selling off. Now my target for this trade, while we're in this, I look at the offers and you can see at the 35s was my target. Okay. Also a good sign is as price is dropping. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was this offer who basically set his order. Okay, so as price is dropping, he's putting an offer here, a limit order, which could basically act as a wall or a roof to not let price go higher. So this is definitely a good sign. Now, we can see many offers, right? And in hindsight, obviously, you know, the 35s is definitely a good level to take profits, but maybe I could have, because I had two targets in mind, right? I had the 30 in mind and the 35s in mind. As you can see, massive bids, and I didn't want to be greedy on this trade, and so I decided to go full out on the 35s. But now in hindsight, since these are pretty close to each other, there's only 5 points away, it probably would have been better in this scenario to take partials here at the 35s. You know, my stop loss at break even, take profits here, and then put my full target here, which obviously I would have had a bigger RR trade if I would have done that. I'm still happy with my trade, of course. Everything went according to plan. I will just click on play, so it keeps going. But yeah, now in hindsight, and you know, everything is pretty different when you're live trading as well. There's emotions, and sometimes you don't see things too clearly, even though you know everything was going according to plan. Here you see another offer that got in the market, just trying to protect price. You see this one right here. See some aggressive buying already stepping in, and we're almost at the 35s, almost at my full target. Now we'll see once we get to the 35s is where I got all out. We're almost there. Still aggressive selling. Now we should probably see a little drop. There we go. This is where I got all out, and literally just, you know, a couple seconds later or whatever it was, it just went to the 30s. Let's speed it up a little bit. You can see all these offers and bids right here. There we go. Hitting the 30s almost. We're very close to it. And there we go. This was the next target. So literally a couple minutes later, 1 or 2 minutes later, we hit the 30s as well. Okay, so you know, this is a very clean trade, very clean setup. My bias basically was bearish after we broke this level. Right? After we broke this level, retested it, I still saw more downwards potential. And as you can see, the 30s was right here. So 30s right here, which obviously is a lot better risk to reward. Yes, I would have taken partials at the 35s. So this wouldn't have been a 4R, maybe that would have been a 3R trade. So I would have had a little bit more RR instead of just targeting the 35s. But you know, all in all, it was still a very good trade, very logical as well, just flowing with the overall direction of the market, playing it from level to level. And as you can see later on, price obviously had a nice drop, right? Had a pretty big drop, almost a 30-point drop. And then price basically retraced, and look where it retraced into. So it basically retraced right into this area again, right into the same area where we had our little consolidation range with aggressive sellers on the Bookmap. Price returned into that, and look at that sell-off that happened later on. Okay, so sometimes not always the first trade will be the biggest one. Of course, this was a big trade, and you know, if I would have used different targets, I could have squeezed more out of the market, but obviously we don't know what's going to happen, you know, before it actually happens. So as you can see, price just retraced into that, and then again, sellers just didn't want to let price go higher. Okay, and then they probably added more positions, and they wanted to really protect this area, you know, from buyers stepping in and pushing the price higher. So this massive sell-off happens. Look at that. That's just incredible. Okay, just look at the at this whole range, how many points that was. It was 100 points, just a little bit over 100 points sell-off that day, again from the same range that we had marked out on the Bookmap. How crazy is that? That's just insane. Okay, so anyways, this was a very clean trade. It just came from this resistance level that support level that got broken and retested. Then we saw downwards continuation. The market opens. We see consolidation. We see aggressive sellers stepping in as the market opens. We see a push to the downside with aggressive selling. And price comes back, sets this little high. Everything's a little bit choppy. And then you can see if you zoom out, you see still aggressive buying once it comes into this level. So you need to be cautious. That's why I always say it's good to zoom out, make it like a 5-minute interval or a bit more. You can do 15 minutes as well. And you can see that buyers were still there. So it's important not to jump the gun, unless obviously you would enter somewhere here and you would have a bigger stop loss, maybe like 5, 6, 7 points, if that's really what you want to do. I'd rather wait for the actual precise entry, because I like to be precise with my entries as well, so I can have a little bit smaller stop loss and have a better risk to reward. So here you can see we had this high right here. We had a clean move to the downside where you can see aggressive sellers stepping in. Look at these contracts, 148 and 85. You can see on this little retrace that we had some smaller buying as well, 16 and 27 and 6. So you can see we had a weaker buying, and then we had this aggressive selling stepping in. So this would have been the ideal entry. I entered obviously at the 46s. But if you're quick on your feet and your mind is sharp, maybe you could have entered a little bit higher, 46.50, 46.75. This would have been a great entry, 168 on this retrace, basically making a lower high. Okay, and then obviously targets are subjective, but I love to use these bids basically as targets for sales and offers for targets for buys. And you can see how clean this was, the 35s and the 30s as well, to maybe take partials here and then let the rest run to the 30s. And obviously, yeah, you can always look further, see if there's more bids. And there was here at the 15s. I don't even know if the market got there on this move. So we didn't get there. Okay, we didn't get at the 15s. So yeah, it's important not to be greedy, and just be logical. Basically, be logical with your targets. Okay, and if you're averaging a 3 risk to reward or 4 risk to reward on most of your wins, that's amazing. You just need a win rate that balanced right with that risk to reward, and you'll be profitable. Okay, so anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you have any questions about the Bookmap or how I find my levels on the chart, just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be more than glad to help you out. All right, so see you guys in the next video.